Welcome back, everybody. This video is hopefully going to be a short one, I think, and what we're looking at here is the concept of total war in World War I. Last time we looked at the kind of major battles, the most important battles of the First World War between the Central Powers and the Triple Entente. And in this particular video, we're going to look at the idea of total war. Now, total war is an important concept for World War I because really it's the first time we've seen it happen in the history of the world. And the idea of total war is that everything in all of these different countries is being devoted pretty much exclusively to running and winning the war. So all of their resources, their factories, their people, everything is really being directed at winning World War I. Now, one of the interesting ways to understand that is by looking at some of what we call propaganda posters. So propaganda posters are the idea that the government's going to spend a lot of money in order to keep people's minds focused on winning the war and not letting them get down and depressed and focused on other things and kind of focusing their attention on the idea of winning the war. And propaganda became a major tool and a major weapon in the First World War when it came to countries controlling their own populations and what those populations thought so that everybody could be focused on victory. So we're going to look at a few propaganda posters here. The first one, of course, is an American poster, and a lot of these are American posters just because you guys will be able to read them. So the first one, of course, is kind of a call to action. You can see Lady Liberty there sleeping in her easy chair when in the background, the dark storm clouds are coming and bad ominous omens are ahead, and it really gives us the idea that this is a very important battle. It's a very important war. We should be involved in it. And it even says civilization calls. So civilization is what's at stake. Every man, woman, and child. Right there's the concept of total war. Every man, woman, and child. Everyone needs to wake up. Everyone needs to get involved in this war. We should be over there and we should be fighting. Next, obviously, we have a recruiting poster. Right, the call to duty. Join the army for home and country, right? This is making it your responsibility to go and sign up. Your country needs you. The expectation is that you're going to be involved and you're going to dedicate yourself to this war effort. Next, we see a comparison between a British campaign and an American campaign for recruiting. Of course, on the right there, Uncle Sam. On the left, his British counterpart, who's Lord Kitchener. And again, he's pointing directly at us. This is our individual problem, and we need to do our part, right? So it's your country needs you. I want you for the U.S. Army. So this is trying to personalize things and ultimately to contribute to this idea of total war and getting everybody involved. The next one is kind of a justification poster. So we see destroy this mad brute. And on top of the huge ape, right, King Kong, I guess, is he's wearing a German military helmet that says militarism. He's carrying a big club that says culture with a K because it's German. And of course, he's coming to the shores of America. And you can see right there underneath his feet, it says America. So the idea is to destroy this mad brute, right? You need to enlist in the United States Army and prevent this German culture from coming here and destroying what we've got. The next one's actually a really subtle and interesting one. It's a family, of course, sitting down with Dad, and the little girl looks up and says, "Daddy, what did you do during the Great War, or in the Great War?" And Dad looks kind of nervous and concerned, like maybe he doesn't have a really good answer for this. And so it's the idea that, you need to do your part, you need to serve your country, because one day your children are going to ask, "What did you do during the Great War?" And you better not have to tell them that you were a coward and stayed home and hid, while other people went and did, the great, brave, glorious, militaristic things, right? This is a really good example of militarism. Next one's a German poster. We see the goddess Germania in the background and the Kaiser on his horse. And then we see a man carrying a Prussian blue flag. And he's already been wounded, but yet he continues to fight. And it's this kind of heroism and militarism and the glory of the military and the glory of sacrifice and that sort of thing. So definitely one of the things to understand is that this propaganda and this total war campaign are happening on all sides. It's just I'm showing you American examples because it's easier for you to read and to relate to. Here we see another one, right? Joan of Arc saved France. Women of America, save your country, buy war saving stamps. So war saving stamps are kind of like a savings bond where you're loaning your government money to help pay for needs right now, and in exchange you expect to be paid back later. And of course this is making it specifically about women so that, you know, we shouldn't just think about war as being a man's thing. This is of course something that women were intricately linked to as well, and of course they could help the war effort by buying stamps, just the way that Joan of Arc saved France during the 100 Years' War. Here's another example. Be patriotic, sign your country's pledge to save the food, right? Women were seen as the keys to victory here because, of course, they controlled food supply, and if they could cut back on how much food they were feeding their families and their children, that was more food that could be devoted to the war effort and sent to keep men fighting in the field. Next, we see another kind of guilt trip, right? My daddy bought me a government war bond of the Third Liberty Loan. Did yours, right? Hopefully to motivate people to go out and try to make their kids happy by buying them war bonds. Next, we see women help America's sons win the war, buy U.S. government war bonds, right? This fundraising campaign was really super important. And of course, since men were off fighting, a lot of times these things were being devoted specifically towards women. And here we see kind of the motherly role. Finally, we've got this one, which is the kitchen is the key to victory, eat less bread, right? Very direct, very straightforward. We need to save our resources to feed our soldiers. All of these propaganda posters, of course, represent to us the idea of total war, getting everybody involved. It doesn't matter who you are. Everything is going towards winning this war. And that's one of the reasons why World War I was also so big and so important, was the fact that when it was a total war, everybody was, in one way or another, involved in this war. So that's it for today. I think this is a short one. I will see you in the next video, which should post here pretty soon, and it's going to be about the Russian Revolution and what's going on in Russia that helps to end the First World War. So I hope everybody's doing well, stay healthy, stay safe, and I will see you later.